What is up, everyone? What is up? Happy Monday. Had a great haul from Hamvention this past weekend. Yeah, we got some great, yeah, there's a lot of, I'm waiting for caffeine to freaking hit my brain, to be honest, right now. But there was a lot of great little finds that I had at Hamvention, as I was talking about a little bit yesterday. There's actually quite a few finds that I really hated the fact that I had to leave behind, but I couldn't justify spending the money on, or whatever various reasons. But I did at least manage to get a couple of items that I did have the goal set out to go get. One of the main goals that I had, as I talked about last night at Hamvention, was getting a Panasonic Toughbook, because you can usually get them pretty often there, and generally at a reasonable steal. What's up, Marco? Because normally you can pick them up like used, like maybe $400, $500, $600 for the decent ones, but I was picking them up for like 200 or so bucks, so I got a great one. Core i5 8th gen. It's the FZ55 series with the dock. 20 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of SSD. Perfect for a field laptop with hot swappable batteries. Yeah, that'll be a really fun laptop to do some radio stuff with over the next few months. I have plans for that. One of my big complaints was not getting a second one. Because I'm like, man, I should have gotten a second one. Because I was like, as soon as I left, I'm like, man, I could have gotten a second one to do this and this with it. But, yeah. Then I got myself an official Intel Pentium processor from 1992 for $10. I was like, that's just a great little display piece. I think that's the SX963, if I remember. Yeah, SX963. Yeah, an actual Pentium. So, Intel SX963 is the 100 megahertz Intel Pentium CPU. They had a bus speed of 50 to 66 megahertz. Yeah. Really, really early days. I'm in school for software dev. Can you give me a quick take? I'd appreciate it. Quick take on what? I mean, I'm not a Chinese takeout place, so I can't really help you with quick takeout if that's your question. I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe there's another sentence you have coming in. I'm currently fully resetting an old PC right now to start a home lab. It's exciting. Nice! Happy hacking with that. Sup, Hans? I've seen those things still trying to be used to run Windows 10, I bet. What are your thoughts with AI and everything? I don't think everything needs AI. I think right now it's just overhyped at the moment and everybody's just throwing it out there. They're throwing it at the wall to see what sticks. And you got a lot of these executives that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground that are going around trying to, make AI everything. But yeah. And then we gotta flash these couple of WizMesh tags here. So I gotta get these set up for my dogs. In fact, let's do that now before I forget. And do you have tutorials that I could use to start a lot of clues? Unless when it comes to home labs, I want to use Linux. For right now, the best resource is to join the Discord and Matrix communities that I have. The links are in my bio. There's a ton of people in there that are tinkering with all sorts of different things and will help you get guidance on different things. I'm working on getting my stuff into various guides and everything, but I'm also balancing a full-time job, so, you know. What affordable things can I buy to start a home lab? I'm still a student. Go to Facebook Marketplace and a lot of flea markets and stuff like that. You can get secondhand used computers. Like I went to Hamvention and I picked up a bunch of mini PCs. Here, I can actually show you what I'm talking about when I say mini PCs. Something like these. This one was one of the ones that cost me $70. Core i5, 8 gigabytes of memory, nice little mini computer for you to run a bunch of different little services on and tinker and see what you want to learn. And you can reuse it in various different ways. In fact, I got curious, and I'm just wondering, really? Oh, come on. I forgot how you open these. There's this little piece over here. I think that's irrelevant. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so it's got an actual spinning rust disc in here. Good day, mate. Can you help me to know more about Linux and what OS is the best, because I hate Windows? I mean, there's a few other operating systems other than Mac, Windows, and Linux out there. There's FreeBSDs, there's Haiku, there's a few others, but Linux is the most popular one for people that want to be using it on a third-party basis, want to be using it on their own machines without going to Mac. I've been having a really off day. It's been hard to get back into the swing of working out today. I did it yesterday, at least. Alright, so let's get the flashing of these cards going. Okay, so these are... So I'm flashing these little air tags. Not air tags, but the WizMesh tags over here. If you're not familiar with those, those are the new devices that I got for you know, working to track my dog in the near future. We're working on some content with that, so we gotta... Oh, right. I forgot, you need a Chromium-based browser for this one. It annoys me that, like, so many things are so focused on being built for Chromium. Alright, let's see, where we are looking at... Thank you for the follow. So Linux isn't safe. Linux is perfectly safe. Alright, let's get the latest version of Meshtastic on there. And then we're going to hit continue. Enter DFU. Do the TTY, ACM. And we're going to download that. And then, yep, we see our little drive over there. So now I got to go to my downloads folder over here. And drop that in. And that's copying over. Can use a home lab project as proof of some expertise. Absolutely, I've done that for most of my career. That's how I've gone so far in my career without, you know, needing degrees and a lot of that other stuff. I mean, I'm working on my degree right now, just to check that box, but what did Marco say? You know, my junior told me a few days ago we are getting at a point where our coffee maker is going to have an MCP server, and he was so right on that. Yeah, yep, I can see that actually happening. That actually does make sense. All right, so we've got that. Alright, so that one's been flashed. Now we got the other air tag over here. Alright, let's see. What's chat saying right now? I can ask you how to learn, but I'm shy because I don't have a PC laptop. You can learn with a lot of different things, but honestly, with an IT and cybersecurity, you're going to need a computer to be able to fully, effectively understand a lot of the concepts. Alright, so... Come on, where are you? Laptop, Raspberry Pi, you can learn with anything, really. Yeah, that's true. Facebook Marketplace is a very good place for deals. Yeah, it totally is. It just annoys me that every time I try to create a Facebook account now, since deleting mine a few years ago, that Facebook thinks that I'm an automated account, and no matter what, will always delete my account. I want it just for the marketplace, that's it. What AMD-powered laptop do you recommend that you personally have experience with? So both of my laptops that I daily are AMD-powered. One is fully AMD. The other one is... the other one is AMD with an NVIDIA GPU. So we have the System 76 Pangolin. And then we have the Tuxedo Computers Stellaris Slim. I have the AMD version. Both are really great laptops. I love both. The Pangolin is my Parrot OS laptop. My Tuxedo laptop is my daily driver with Pop OS on it. No real complaints with either one. Unlike me right now with these, Do I need to, like, refresh the page or something like that? The problem is when you get two of the same product, it kind of goes derp. Because I need to get it into DFU mode. Oh, there we go. I did have to close the browser and then reopen it. Alright, so dropping the new firmware into it. And then we should be able to plug these in and then control them remotely. Is the machine on screen Linux? Yes, it is. How are you streaming with Linux with TikTok Live Studio capture card? I'm not using TikTok Live Studio, I'm using OBS. Official Crucial Deal. Do you mail and learn money to Molvad? No, I use Monero. How do you see the AI in the coding in the domain? I want to change from SW, software engineering, to cybersecurity. You can definitely do that. Application security is a decent way that I see a lot of devs actually pivot in. What's your what? Survey. Second. Use the tablet as a second monitor in Ubuntu. I don't know about that. At least as a second monitor. Other than having a physical connection there. Alright, so we got these devices connected. So now we should be able to... No, we don't need the flasher. We need downloads. There we go. All right, cool. It's working. So we got our Mesh-tastic device working. Now I just gotta get these guys charged and then plan a hike with my dogs so that I can have them tested out properly. Which should be fun. I was planning to do that towards the end of the month. Taking, there's a park I know of, about 45 minutes or so. There's like barely any cell signal. It's perfect to take the dogs to go test out AirTags versus Mesh-tastic. And then eventually I'm going to be getting into doing POTA, Parks on the Air, as well as SOTA, Summit on the Air, and special event. You know, I'll also maybe start getting into radio contesting. But one of the things I definitely was, you know, wanting to look into was like APRS. So there's a lot of different technologies. I actually picked up the TID radio H9, and I was switching over from my daily radio that I was carrying from the H8 to the H9. And I'm also at the same time, I need to play with my DMR radio. I'm planning to upgrade the antenna and stuff on the car. There's a few things going on, but yeah. Have you gotten APRS to work properly on the H9? Yeah, I've gotten it to work in and find my location. I haven't gotten too deep into it to like start doing SMS messaging over my radio yet. I'd have to, you know, find some contacts that have that capability, but yeah. You teach me how to become Mr. Robot. So what you do is, you know, you go to the dance floor and then you start doing this. Alright, let's see. Let me catch up with chat. Dual booting Garuda and Windows, removing Linux stuff to Linux. I got 3/4 drives finished. That's going to take them a little bit of a minute, but I do, to make a lot of it easier for moving from Windows to Linux, there's a software I use for backing up called Blinkdisk. Yes, I am affiliated with them, but they're completely open source, so technically you don't have to do any purchasing. The only thing that you do purchase is if you get their cloud storage, but you can do all the backups offline like I do. They have a really decent GUI app. And anyway, you can have it back up to, like, say, your NAS, and then restore on the other computer that way. Although, if you're just doing it as a one-time move, but moving forward for backups and stuff, that actually might be worthwhile, because I like having tools that are operating system agnostic. What I mean by that is I like having tools that I know I can use the same thing whether I'm on Mac, Windows, or Linux. Like, for example, if I'm using an IDE, I'm probably going to be using VS Code whether I'm on Mac, Windows, or Linux. If I'm on if I'm going to use a web browser, I'm probably going to be using Florp, whether I'm on Mac, Windows, or Linux, or, at the very least, whatever, the fallout is with corporations and the browsers that they require. But you get the idea where I'm at from that. What's your opinion on Mac and Asahi Linux? I hear good things about Asahi Linux, but I know they have to do a lot of, maturing for the entire stack to actually be worthwhile to the rest of the distributions because of the limitations of Mac support and hardware. Meshtastic, are you into RF stuff? Yes. I have a ham radio license. I have a general class amateur radio license. So, not the entry level, just the midway one. And then my ham shack is right over there. I got some radio stuff over there. Actually, let me show you some of the haul we got from Hamvention. So I showed you the mini computers. So I got a couple of those. Set that aside. But I've also got my backup battery solution for my ham radio shack now. So this is... yeah, that's the charge controller. Okay, so that's the charge controller for the solar panel over here. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this one can do about... this is the BSP 40 Lite. So that's just the solar panel kit there to slowly charge the battery that I got, which is a lithium iron phosphate. That's pretty much what most of these two bags are for. And it's both for backup at emergencies as well as traveling. When I go to parks on the air and stuff and start doing radio comms in the field. That's the charger. That's the charge meter. Oh yeah. ADSB exchange was at Hamvention, so I picked up a SDR that with their SDR on a steep discount, because when you're at Hamvention, that's part of the reason why everybody goes. You get discounts on all the tech and really cool finds. But they gave me the flash drive with in the SD card with their software preloaded. And then the SDRs both for UAT and ADSB. I got that for about $100. So we'll be doing that. I got the This is the power pole to 4-pin adapter for my Yaesu base station radio behind me. Yep. Yeah. Give me a second. And then we got my battery right over here. So it's not a huge ass battery, but it'll at least keep my radio powered for a few hours, even without the sun. So we got a 15 amp hour, 180 watt hour battery here. So Anderson power pole connectors already attached. DC power. BioNO is kind of the brand a lot of people in ham radio go to. So it's a starter battery, so I can always get a bigger battery. This was just, let me get started with something. This one should at least last me a few hours. Got distracted by the NR node. Opinion on data centers, I mean, you need data centers, but I hate the fact that data centers right now are being used for things that, in my opinion, don't really matter nearly as much. Yeah, what's this? Is this the charge controller? Yeah, that's the charge controller. So, yeah, lithium iron phosphate batteries, that's what a lot of people are switching over to for backups and everything. And what I was thinking of doing was, so this is ham radio first. So I'm going to have an Anderson power pole distribution block down the road. That's going to connect in, and then it'll connect into my tuner and SWR meter and all those other things that I have for the ham radio. But they will also, it'll be able to, what was it? There's a Anderson power pole to ring terminal adapter that I was looking at getting or making so that I could have it go into an inverter, so that way I could have this power a laptop in the case of an emergency. So this, I'm kind of trying to build out an emergency system, at least until one day I can get a house together that I don't have to worry about that, because I'll have an entire giant ass battery in the entire house. Why do people like ham radio? Because the art and science of radio is a really interesting thing in the building blocks for a lot of modern telecommunications. Ham radio was the very first social media network, if you think about it. And when internet goes down, when the cell goes down, what else do you have? You have radio. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Let me bring this closer. Hold on. Oh. Oof. We got so many hidden gems I have to go over. So, I scored my second IBM Model M keyboard, and I can officially say this one's older than me. Ham radio was the first internet I heard. I mean, you can run internet over ham radio if you really wanted. Do you think computer science is even worth it anymore? Oh, absolutely. Um, almost got some one of those keyboards home for free. Yeah. All right, let me see. We got OKC or Spears. I'm not really a basketball person, unfortunately. But yeah, we got an IBM Model M 13 keyboard over here. This traces back to 1990s. Good old made in the USA. I don't know if you can hear that, but... Here, hold on. Turn down the... It's an ASMR stream now, pretty much. But yeah, this only cost me 20 bucks. 20 bucks, original IBM Model M M13 with the original hot swappable little cable they had over here. Yeah, 20 bucks. Why didn't you get your degree? Well, some of us had to, you know, do this thing called life. So yeah, I got the keyboard for 20 bucks. That was a great find. Alright. So I got this binder over here. Sun Fortran. Okay, you know what this is? This is freaking Fortran. This is a manual for Fortran. Look at that. Like, you want to actually have an actual reference manual for the Fortran language. Like, there you go. And it's so well taken care of. What's the benefit of that keyboard? Can't be hacked? The advantage of this keyboard, the IBM Model M keyboard, is this is one of the first mechanical keyboards. These have buckling springs. These are one of the nicest, most solid keyboards. They are seriously collector items that even today, you buy them used, they go for $200 to $300. Yeah, they never stop working. Yeah, they never stop working. Like, this is 36 years old now. I'm betting if I plug this into a PS2 port, this would come alive. Yeah. I'm gonna put that on the server rack, but yeah, that's Fortran. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the library. Nice little display. But this is a nice little piece of history. When was this copyrighted over here? Let's see, hold on. Read this first for Spark C-Works. Provision A of 15 March 1991. This is older than me. Let's see. We got some more over here. Well, let's start with this. So this was a pretty cool find. So these are actual AT&T textbooks on Unix System 5. This is basically the backbone for the modern world as we know it. This is where it all started, guys. PS2 to USB adapter. Oh, absolutely. And this is from 1986, 1987. So, a lot of you wonder, well, how did you all learn all of this stuff without the internet? This is how we literally learned it. You literally had a bunch of these commands and stuff. Like, it's literally a lookup and reference. This is how we had to learn and look up information before the internet as we know it. And you know what's really cool? Is if you just, I'm just flipping through this, okay? Just stopping randomly. A lot of these commands still exist. Yeah, like, hold on. What's this? RMDel. AT&T windowing utilities. So now we're getting into, like, oh, this is a little bit of nostalgia. Some, you know, like, this is literally their man pages for the System 5 operating system. So I got the programmer's reference manual, and I've got the Documenter's Workbench User's Guide. So those were cool. We're just gonna set that over there. We also happened to get IBM antivirus for OS2 Warp and Windows 95 support now included. I just had to do this for the laughs. We got the design of the Unix operating system. Couple of books over here. Actually, I think these are the same. I got two of the same book. Might be able to give that away. The Unix programming environment. Yeah. Now this was an interesting one. The inventions, researches, and writings of Nikola Tesla. I mean, I picked up all these books for like a combined total of like $20. The Radio Amateur's Handbook of 1975. I thought this was really cool because it was well preserved and you have all these diagrams and everything in there. So I thought that was really cool to like add to my library. Oh, there's a card in here. What's that? What? Bunch of strips that just say void null. Huh. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Oh yeah, I got these all from Hamvention. Actually, I think the total of the books, I went through two different vendors at their little flea market. I think I spent like $35 altogether. Unix network programming. Like, when was this made? Hold up. An overview of networking and a description of some networking protocols currently in use. TCP/IP, Xerox NS, IBM's SNA, NetBIOS, the OSI protocols, and UUCP. Like, a lot of this book with networking doesn't even apply anymore, because we don't use a lot of this stuff anymore, but a lot of this is still great knowledge to know where we came from. This book here is 1990. Again, a year older than I am. What's this? Radar Handbook from McGraw-Hill. This was from 1970. But yeah, this goes into radar. I mean, like, mathematically into radar. Like, yeah, I need to find where I put the remote to zoom in on, but y'all couldn't figure it out, you know. So we're actually dealing with, like, deep into radar. How does it work? How can you figure things out? Like, let's see. Anyone need a Linksys wireless and adapter? I got that brand new in box. It's $1. It was seriously a case of, it's only $1. Why the hell not? Must be rich to afford all this. No, actually, Hamvention didn't cost all that much. This is mostly flea market and aftermarket shit. Like, I'm not even through half the books, and this is all like $35 so far. There's my Core i3 mini PC I picked up. This was $30. My other mini PC was $70. So, 75, I think it was. But yeah, so, mini PCs, love picking up these guys. The Radio Amateur's Handbook. Picked this up for $5. Again, nice little retro knowledge. Plenty of great little schematics in here and references, and a lot of this knowledge is still applicable even today. And then we got the Radio Handbook, 20th edition. Definitely an older book. This is from 1975. Again, more radio stuff. Just great for the library. So, we've got this little tower of books over here. Plus a Fortran manual. So, I think that's it pretty much, yeah. Other than the gigabit switches I got down there, so I also picked up some Dell PowerEdge servers. I picked up 3, some still with the SAS drives for $10 a piece, switches for $10 a piece. Yeah, you can get a lot of electronics inexpensively there that are secondhand. Like the Panasonic Toughbook I picked up, that's one of the better buys of the whole show. Let me put these away. My $1 networking card is getting in my way. CompTIA plus, plus, security plus, Cyber subs, and I couldn't even get a help desk job trainee job after 9 months. Well, have you done any projects on your own that you can add to your portfolio? Because I know a lot of people, like, I've gotten upset at some of my posts when I've said, like, I don't understand, like, why people think you need to get a degree and certs and all that to get the job. 9 times out of 10, people don't get a job because their resume looks like crap, even if they are qualified and desired by the job. And that's why they don't hear back. It happened to me. But a lot of people, this is the one thing, you know, a lot of people will make the argument of, well, right now the market's so saturated because you have a lot of people competing for all these jobs that now you have to get the degree and everything there. And I'd say, yeah, you have a lot of people competing, definitely, for sure. I'm not discounting that at all. But what I am saying is, if your argument is that you still have to make yourself stand out, how does going to college and doing the exact same thing that everyone else is doing going to make you stand out? That's been my argument. And that's why I say you need to home lab. Because even if, like, it may be true, as I've acknowledged, where right now, yes, there are definitely barriers because HR is looking for certain checkboxes, and I've acknowledged that in a lot of my other content, and that's even why I'm going for my bachelor's degree. Then you also have to acknowledge that even once you achieve those same checkboxes that everyone else is also trying to get, that you are still going to have to make yourself look different. At the end of the day, a lot of that comes down to showing what projects and experiences that you have to make yourself stand out. And home labbing is really one of the best ways to do that. Because aside from the things like, oh, you've been a speaker, you've gone around, you've educated and collaborated on projects, you don't get to that point until you start entering the field. Great if you have to work on a legacy system. Yeah. A lot of that stuff is really great on a legacy system. Everyone is using AI to make their resume. That is true. Yeah, everyone is using AI, which is all the reason more you need to hire someone who's actually a professional resume writer. Because AI can do AI things. But resume writers are humans that actually know how to understand how the HR and stuff will be viewing those documents. I'm actually almost done with school and really interested in being a remote sysadmin. Is it about permissions, like adding workers and managing permissions? That is more of an identity and access management system service you're talking about. That's more in like cybersecurity. You can get like cybersecurity analysts that can do stuff like that. Although sysadmin roles generally do roll into some of that as well. But generally, managing permissions and everything is an identity and access management, or IAM, position. Okay, so we have these two antennas here. So I can't wait to get this stuff set up here. This is airframes.io's. So this is an RTL 2832U. They just have it, okay, so this has the amplifier on there and the filter. So this is locked to 978 and 1090. Okay, that's good. And then ADSB also gave me this micro SD card here, with their software. So theoretically, I should be able to just plug that into a Raspberry Pi and get running. Yep. Setup instructions. Raspberry Pi 3. Okay, boot up the Pi. Connect phone and then Wi-Fi network. Okay, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. So that is going to be getting a Raspberry Pi. Oh yeah, that's my Panasonic Toughbook we got yesterday too. So that should be really fun. Actually, you know what? I should have some SDR tools in here, shouldn't I? What do you think about LilyGo? I like LilyGo. I got a few of their products. My other SDR is around here somewhere. All right. Do you think it's worth going to DEF CON as in for support, or should I learn a bit more cyber? I think it's worth going, especially from the networking with people aspect. Because DEF CON's for everyone, not just the seasoned veterans. Like, you can be an absolute noob, come in and learn things. I know you hear a lot of boogeyman stories like, oh, you're gonna get hacked at DEF CON and all that. No, you won't. And then you also have a lot of the schmucks that, like, are complaining, like, DEF CON got a little bit too commercial. And I'm like, well, motherfucker, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? We're no longer the misfits of society we once were, you know, seen as in the 1990s and 80s, where, you know, you were freaking phones and, you know, messing with bank ATMs and all of that stuff. We worked very hard to make cybersecurity, formerly known as information security, InfoSec, a legitimate career path. And now that it's a legitimate career path, yeah, it's gonna get a little bit more commercial. You may miss the, you know, Wild West days, but that's the price of paying to, you know, have mainstream acceptance. And now we still have more fights to get people to accept that, you know, what you see in Hollywood is not real, and having people understand that people learning about cybersecurity through TV shows like Mr. Robot is not really a scary thing. Okay, so I'm curious. SDR. Okay, what's a good SDR software? It's been a while since I had to look that up. SDR software, Linux, RTL 2832U. Alright, let's see. Now we should... Okay, so I had to install that, and then... SDR plus... Okay, SDR Angel, is it? Alright, GQRX. Alright. I'm just curious if we can see anything out of my laptop here. Although I doubt we'll be able to, because we are in the basement, but... Wait, that's the micro SD. There we go. Okay, GQRX, generic. All right, so all right, we need to adjust the frequency to 1090. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll pitch that up. There we go. Yep. We are capturing stuff. So, cool. That is a success. That SDR is actually... So what the next step would be is to get that into a Raspberry Pi, get that set up. Now, I think ADSB Exchange also, in exchange for you running this, lets you get their commercial software access. What are the benefits of fully rugged laptops? What do you mean, like, besides the obvious? I mean, a fully rugged laptop is basically the obvious. One of the things I like about this is going to be my ham radio laptop for the field. I can hot swap batteries. So this has 2 batteries in here. One's blank, because I have to, buy the actual battery. But, like, let's say my battery gets low, I could carry around additional battery packs and just swap them out and keep it running. I've got a stylus built in over here. It is a touchscreen. This is IP51 rated, so it'll take splashes of rain and, dusting. I also like the fact that I've got a handle. Basically, I like that if I take this into the field, I don't have to worry about it nearly as much. And the fact that I only got this for $200 means if this laptop breaks, it's like, damn, I only lost $200 versus, damn, I lost my, laptop I spent good money on. And you can kind of throw these around a little bit. Not that you should, but Panasonic Toughbooks are kind of legendary. I have a 4G cell modem and GPS module coming in for this. I need to get the battery upgrade, though. That battery upgrade is definitely going to be a must. How much did you pay for your DEF CON ticket? I paid an exorbitant $0. The reason why, though, is I'm helping out a village this year. So I'm part of a village. I didn't pay anything for my ticket. I won't even have to wait in line. Wait, you can't hear me? How much did you pay for my ticket? I paid for a exorbitant $0. I'm working with a village this year. I'll have more details on that. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't have to pay anything for my ticket this year. I probably don't even have to wait in line, from my understanding, because I'm helping out a village. Is it normally that expensive? Let me put it in this perspective. DEF CON, for what you get, is not that expensive. It's, what, $560 or so for a ticket? The most of your cost is going to be your hotel. Okay? Your hotel and flight will be most of your cost. Plus, you know, room, board, you know, all that stuff. Yada, yada, yada. Those are going to be most of your costs when it goes to DEF CON. Now, you might be saying, well, $560 is a lot. You don't know how much cybersecurity conferences actually cost. A lot of the professional conferences, AWS reInvent, CrowdSec Falcon, CrowdStrike Falcon, RSA, those conferences, they actually charge several $1,000s. Black Hat, which is the more commercial counterpart to DEF CON, is about $2,500, $3,000 for a ticket. A lot of professional conference summits, like one of the ones that I'm going to be a speaker at, is like $500. Don't those conferences give you free lunch? No! 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 The only one that I've seen that actually provides lunch as part of the conference is B-Sides. That is the only one that I've seen. Well, GurCon to a lesser extent, but GurCon gave you a ticket that covered just basic food. Like, here's a sandwich and some chips and a soda. But anything more premium than that, you gotta go buy. And that's only for lunch while you're there. But most cybersecurity conferences, you're on your own for food. DEF CON, Hackers Teaching Hackers. No, they catered, but that was a sponsored thing. But generally speaking, if an event is providing lunch, it's generally a smaller event. Your larger conferences are not going to do that. And on the reciprocal, your smaller conferences that don't have a sponsor paying for the lunch also generally won't do that. Black Hat gave me free lunch and breakfast 3 years ago after my employer paid $2,000 or whatever for the ticket. Well, yeah, but that's after you pay like $2,000, $3,000 for a ticket. Is food expensive? It's Vegas. So here's the thing. If you want to keep your food costs down when you're in Vegas, don't eat on the Strip. My advice is go to an actual grocery store. So, like, generally what we do when we go to DEF CON, my buddies and I, we coordinate. So some of my friends are going to get there for Hacker Summer Camp before I land, like a couple of days, because they're volunteering for B-Sides. So I'm going to send them over my list for things I want from Costco. They're going to pick that up, You know, like rotisserie chicken, snacks, paper plates, things like that. Because what's going to cost you more than anything is the snacks and water. Snacks, water, drinks. So, like, go to Costco, buy your booze there. Don't buy at the pool, anything like that. So we'll buy, like, a handle of rum or two, or, you know, like a whiskey or whatever. And then you're generally going to be spending, I'd say, $20 a meal, give or take, in Vegas. You'll have to allot for. And you have to remember, that's if also your hotel gives you a fridge. So there's a lot to it. Now, the hotel that I booked this year, thankfully, it's through a friend. He also so we booked our hotel for DEF CON back in January. That's when you get some of the best deals. Earlier on. The closer you get to DEF CON, the more effed you get in pricing. So we booked while the days of DEF CON. So I'm going to be at 2 hotels. So one for B-Sides and then another for DEF CON. But while I'm there during the DEF CON days, I'm only spending $500. And they give us, I think, what is it, $25 meal credit per day as well as part of it. All the Marriott and Hiltons have been to have fridges. Yeah, but Vegas, not all hotels have fridges. I'm just saying, you gotta prepare accordingly. And here's the thing. You'll be at the con all day, so you're not necessarily gonna bring your food with you. So you're gonna be at the convention center for DEF CON. And that's a little bit of a schlep to go back to your hotel room just to go eat and then come back. So, generally a lot of us just suck it up and eat at the convention center or nearby. Now, there are some great, like, taco spots and all that around there, too. I bring a lunchbox. You're an adult. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, you're going to see people literally in pajamas. I mean, you're going to see people literally walking around in furry outfits or T-Rex outfits, or one person that was literally riding a velociraptor in the inflatable suit. No joke. Saw that at DEF CON. Welcome to DEF CON. It'll be fun. At these conventions, oh boy. Yeah. You wore your cowboy boots last year. Of course you did. Yeah. Was that before or after we dunked you in the pool? At these conventions? Oh yeah. People have no idea. DEF CON is a different kind of cybersecurity convention. So it's not where you're gonna go and dress up in a polo or a polo shirt or a button down and then do the cyber thing and, you know, be a professional. This is where we literally have Hacker Jeopardy, where instead of, you know, that do, you're gonna have a whole bunch of people sitting there yelling at you saying, "Don't fuck it up! Don't fuck it up!" Where we have games like Spot the Fed. Yeah. What's your first business? I have such a hard time finding a good business idea. I never start one. My first business, I guess you could say, was selling pirated music on CDs through Guitar in middle school and high school. Don't do that. All right, let's see. We got some content to go through. What do we have? Hold on. Where did we last leave off? Okay, here we go. I didn't check the audio to make sure this will work. Hold up. We're gonna go into the settings. Yeah, I think I talked about my first business where I was basically the guy people would come to so that they could actually get their playlist dropped off to their crushes and would get LightScribe discs done, and then eventually learned, you know, a lot of growing boys wanted pictures of, you know, shall we say, well, what do you think young boys all want to see when they're going through puberty, okay? So I figured out how to download images and print them with a really nice printer that I had, and sold those. Look, I was pretty entrepreneurial as a middle schooler and high schooler.
So if you didn't know, 8 dudes...
Alright, what did Vampire share?
Outsold half of the AAA industry, 500,000 copies in 1 week.
Okay, doing what?
Far, Far West, a co-op extraction shooter where you're a robot cowboy and you sling spells and guns and nothing makes sense in the best way possible. Solo or up to 4 players, get in, take a contract, survive the ghost train, get paid, and it's rated overwhelmingly positive on Steam. And yeah, it's still in early access. That should tell you enough. So take the time now to get this game as it is available.
It actually looks like a fun game. You know, I've actually been noticing, like, the AAA titles and everything have really been sucking, and I'm more, like, bracing for disappointment with a lot of the big studio titles. Like, I'm very worried that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be an absolute flop. I'm very worried that Grand Theft Auto 6, same story. But I have definitely looked to indie studios a little bit more. What game was that? Oh, it's Far, Far West. Alright, what's this that Vampire also shared?
Gaming controllers, a screen, eyes, and maybe even a soul. Joypad OS is a custom firmware meant to run on the tiny microcontrollers usually found in modern gamepads.
Okay.
Give you complete control of your input device's outputs. You can use it to program a Bluetooth controller that can easily interface with a retro console, but the software's creator's been using it to now add tiny screens to DIY controllers that can emote depending on your inputs. The little monitor also gives you visualized data and customization, and can be mounted to a controller shell along with sticks, buttons, and more to give a bizarrely cyberpunk look to your new Dreamcast controller or whatever it is yins are using this type of thing for.
Okay. And then what else you got for me, Vampire?
Just discover a new planet. Cool. What's it called? I don't know, but it looks like Rick and Morty finally found it. What does that even mean? It looks like a giant boob floating through space.
A giant boob floating through space.
One massive celestial hunker. Send me the photo immediately. Send attachment. Oh my God, that's not a planet. That's Neptune. The Milky Way is getting way too literal.
What the hell?
Looked at that and said, remarkable spherical stretch. Meanwhile, every intern at NASA trying not to laugh. Sir, respectfully, that's a space boob.
That's a space boob.
Getting in astrophysics this degree just to discover intergalactic cleavage. The telescope operator definitely.
That's a space boob.
Under his breath. This is the breast discovered of the century. Space boob. You can't deny it.
He got a whole, like, freaking song. whole, you know, damn. When encrypting my system, should I encrypt the full disk? I generally recommend always doing encrypted at rest with, your devices, you know, fully encrypted disks. I do it by default for all of my devices. It can't hurt.
Get on the D. You can write it all weekend long for...
What the hell did you get, Vampire? This is what my mods find for me.
Get on the D. You can write it all weekend long for free in under 20 minutes. In under 20 minutes. There's a huge Metro D. It's happening in Los Angeles. We're very, very excited.
We're going to have a reporter out there and a camera, of course.
A big one. I'm getting on the train.
Wait, that was from the Los Angeles County Supervisor? Oh, God. Alright, what's this?
This cost me $90 to ship here, and is probably the largest board game.
Terraria?
We hope you enjoy Terraria, the board game.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my.
How many users of Windows do use BitLocker? It's pretty much required in enterprises, so I'd say a lot.
The rule book. Small novella, apparently. You know it's a big board game when you have instructions for how to pack it. A plethora
Jesus!
of what I remember about the pitch at PAX Unplugged. This game is sandboxy, which means it is kind of procedurally generated in the way that you can randomly reveal tiles and then you explore it with your group that you're playing. More tokens to worry about. And
Jesus!
stuff over there, you get to see something that I actually kind of like is a very sophisticated organization system for all the tokens that you assumably cut out there, so maybe I can cut back on those plastic bags after all. This is an entire box just for objectives, equipments, and consumables. The fact that it has to be right side up is a...
We read that there's speculation that BitLocker is backdoored.
Are all
I don't know if it's backdoored so much as that it sucks.
they sent me. Phase 1, changing right into Phase 2. This edition also came with a couple of extras. First off, custom card sleeves for I'm pretty sure every card of the entire box. That's
Jesus!
matte upgrade. Apparently these are actually mattes. These are not like the wooden ones in the box. But I assume they die.
How much does this entire game set cost? This has got to be like a $200 or $300 board game.
Rolling mat of some sort, and also an upgrade to our character tokens. They also threw in 2 booster packs. All that's missing is the massive playmat that you can buy that comes along and brings us all together. And now that I've got every other piece, I may as well look into that as well. Thank you so much to my friend who bought me this. It's such an amazing gift. God damn it though, was this thing hard to ship.
Yeah, I'm gonna say $90 to ship all that. I can see why. Man, that costs just a little bit less shipping than all of my stickers I had to get for my content. Alright, what's this? I should call her. Nothing phone being tested. Okay, this is the most normal flex tape, and this is, oh, this is satire.
Show you the power of flex tape by sealing this rift between worlds. Now, please, for the love of God, you cannot seal a rift between realms. This has gotten out of hand. What? And just like that, through the power of flex tape, the rift between worlds has been sealed, and the great devourer won't get our souls this day.
Heads up to all streamers, there is a site that's stolen thousands of people's clips and is creating AI TTS voices of the streamers. The site is called 101 Soundboard, and you can submit a request on the site if you want your voice removed and all your clips taken down so nobody can have a TTS voice of you.
What's this called? 101 Soundboard? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look this up.
When I first seen that post, I thought maybe it was clickbait, and it is not. This is 101soundboard.com. Searched my name, and there are over 100 different clips of me.
Okay, so I'm just gonna check this out. I guess nobody gives a shit about me.
And it looks like once there are enough clips of you put into this, then there's even an AI TTS that you can download to have my voice say whatever you want. And there it is, right there. I searched a handful of some of my streamer friends, and I noticed that some are there.
It's you, I've seen your content. It's you, I've seen your comment.
Like I said, once enough clips are uploaded, they literally create a soundboard for people to use. So if you want to check and see if you're on there and you don't want your voice being used, that is the site right there. You can go into you can request to get it taken down. I don't know if it actually gets taken down. I'm just now finding out about this, but it's worth a shot.
Is Monero privacy a scam, BTW? No, it's not a scam. I've talked about this quite a bit. I've been involved in the Monero side of things for quite a while. There's a 35 pass Gutman encryption. Well, 35 passes. What's this? Jessica put this in a few days ago. NVIDIA's CEO said the quiet part out loud. NVIDIA... Okay, hold on. What does it say? AI is now more expensive than paying humans. The cost to compute is far beyond the costs of the employees. They fired you to save money. They spent $740 billion on AI capex this year, plus 69% year over year. An MIT model, AI is cheaper than humans, is in only 23% of jobs. Humans still win the other 77%. 2026 tech layoffs, 92,000. Meta cut 8,000 plus scrapped 6,000 open roles. Uber's 2026 AI budget gone in 4 months. Gartner's promise inference 90% cheaper by 2030. The cope, until then, AI costs them more than you did. Yeah, and this is the thing I've been telling a lot of people, and they're like, hey, it's going to ruin all the market. And they keep saying, like, you know, well, you know, Amazon and all these companies just laid off, and I'm like, do you realize, like, all those big companies you're talking about, as massive as their layoffs are, is still only a small segment of the overall tech market of employees? Like, they're not even, like, I get, like, as many people as they employ, they're kind of still not a drop in the bucket of the entire world, because every company needs IT and cybersecurity. But, you know, you're going to see, as I've said, that the AI is overhyped. There is definitely use cases for AI. I use AI. I love AI for quite a few things. I will, but it's just a tool. That's all it is, really. And that's what a lot of people are starting to understand. And the hype is starting to die off. So, yeah. I don't know how long it'll take, but eventually it'll get there. What's this? Paris shared this from Mastodon. UK government kicks out Palantir. The UK government, for all its faults, is pretty good at publishing contracts it has awarded. That's why I get depressed when I see rage bait nonsense about how companies have been awarded top secret deals. Right now you can go to Contracts Finder and search whatever has you riled up. Okay. Oh, so you can find different contracts for the UK and stuff. Oh, this is what they were talking about. UK government kicks out Palantir. Okay. Looks like just one small contract. It doesn't really look like it's a massive deal, though. Is working on a government contract job pay you better? No, working in government does not pay you better, but the benefits can potentially be better. So, what I mean by that is, you may not get paid as much, but you get pensions. And the difference is, like, say, when you're putting in, like, a 401k or a retirement plan, that money you put in is what you will take out. A pension, you will get paid that money no matter what. What services are people using to copy voice and generate new voice I personally use, not to publish or anything? Oh, there's a lot of different services.
Kick ass. Hey, money on there, one can eat. Getting money in the daytime, even counting when I sleep. Wake up to getting bread, bitch, I do this for the streets. ADHD.
The Nordic Cheek just resubbed for 3 months.
Thank you for that sub over there. Appreciate you. I do not know why the printer did not print. Oh. I do know. Did I run out of paper? No, it got stuck. Okay, yeah, you got stuck in there, but we, you know, thank you for that sub there. Appreciate you. The Nordic Geek. Appreciate you. All right, fired hacker twins forget to end Teams recording, capture own crimes. What? The 34-year-old twin brothers we profiled this year, however, they had the tech shops to commit years of petty crimes like stealing airline miles. What landed them in truly serious trouble was deleting 96 U.S. government databases in the hour after both were fired last year by the same federal IT contractor, OpExis. OpExis had just found out that both the brothers had previously been in prison for cyber fraud. Oof. Not exactly the brightest bulbs in the shack, are they, if they, got caught on Teams. Okay. The pair came off as less as cybercriminal masterminds than as galumphing galoots. That is to say, a pair of bumbling elves who thought that asking AI how to cover their tracks was going to keep them out of federal prison. Oh, one of the minor mysteries I encountered while writing the piece was that the government had a verbatim transcript of everything the brothers said to each other during their hour-long deletion spree. The two men lived together in Arlington, Virginia, so it made sense that they might be chatting in the same room rather than by text or instant message. But how the heck had the government gotten access to the audio? Super secret software, crazy corporate spyware running on their company laptops, FBI agent bushes with a microphone. I couldn't figure it out, and the answer didn't appear in any of the court documents I read, but a helpful source today pointed out the answer to me. Pointed me to the answer. It is contained within a court filing that bears the unpropitious name United States response in opposition to the defendant's motion to revoke the detention order. Okay, this is the kind of title that practically begs you not to read its contents, yet the file turns out to be fascinating. And it reveals that our galumphing galoots were super secretly recorded by themselves, by accident. Because they forgot to stop the recording the Teams meeting in which they were fired. Wait, what? What? You got caught because you got fired on Teams and you didn't even end the call. What the shit? Here's how prosecutors put it. On February 18th, 2025, two human resources HR employees on Company 1 OpEx has scheduled a Microsoft Teams meeting with Sahib and Munib. I probably got their names wrong. Sahib. We recorded the meeting starting at 4:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The HR personnel left the meeting approximately 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the recording. Apparently unbeknownst to the defendants, the meeting continued recording the next hour of interactions between the brothers. And what did the pair discuss? Fortunately, the obscure document gives us a much fuller picture. If you've ever wondered what it sounds like to be in the room while cyber criminals do their thing, it sounds something like this. Still connected, still in the VPN, delete all their databases? They can recover them. Backups, I'm pretty sure. Daily backups? Yep. What's the plan then? We're going to take care of severance, or are we going to do something about, should we retort to whatever they send us by saying we need 25,000 each? We are doing petty shit now. I'm going to wipe my computer clean. I can't access the system, but I still have the email address for the customers for eCase and FOIA Express. And even so, I've discussed being compensated by Company 1. I'm not going to threaten them shit. That's like, could be shown as some sort of, it depends on how you write it. Just say, according to our previous agreement, this is the tally of the amount that I've been paid. If you pay it up front, then there's no reason to communicate with customers. I'm good. What you working on, man? Nothing important, man. Why won't you tell me? I ain't gonna snitch. Y'all are snitching on yourselves at this. Like, holy shit, criminal masterminds there. 25K each. Yeah, this is like, when people are like, these cyber criminals that are on the internet must be absolute masterminds that are messing with us. No, these are the morons that a majority of the people actually are, believe it or not. Like, this is what you're dealing with, the honest truth. most of these are script kiddies and stuff that like look at this. Like, this is not any better. Like, it just goes back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so let's see. Like, you just got fired in your first like. Yeah, this is just going back and forth about like how like they'll do that. Oh, this is funny. I see you cleaning out their database backups. Don't worry about it. You don't do nothing. Don't try nothing. They are looking at you. They're not looking at me. Going to RDP into their systems and delete all their data. The ramifications for that would be worse, though. What are you talking about? I didn't do nothing. They closed my access when they had that meeting. All right, if you have good plausible deniability and additional discussions about deleting backups and changing DNS information, and they can recover from yesterday. The IT manager will have some work to do. DHS was a big customer, and just go into each of them and start the delete process. It will take its time. It will eventually delete all their files. Sabes, don't say nothing, okay? Don't worry about it. I ain't saying shit. You should have thought about it prior, man. What do you mean? Like, how to kill script? What do you mean? Blackmailing them for some money would have been... No, you do not do that. That's proof of guilt, man. No, but the thing was, you always have your opinion. I could just communicate with the customers. Communicate with the customers is a different thing. So you're saying two different things. There you go. Go say that, man. Go argue for that. Then they'll think that you're the one behind this shit. They're probably gonna go, raid this place. I'll clean this shit up. I don't got shit. We also gotta clean stuff up from the other house, man. Get rid of that shit. Deleting their file systems would be a harder fix. Especially if you clear it out. Everything that I did, I'm making sure it's protected. Then it's clean. Don't worry. We'll go to Texas. You'd think after 3 months the TTS would get my name right. You would think. But yeah, that's kind of funny there. Alright, what's next? Bitwarden scrubs always free inclusion values from its website as longtime exec step down. Oop. Well. Okay, it looks like it's been restored since that happened. It may have been an oversight, but we shall see. Alright, let's see. Date night with ChatGPT. Oh no! Oh no! No!
White ChatGPT. How does it taste? I'll take a table for 2, please. How you doing?
Girl, I would look at him the same way. You see that look? That look he got right there?
I'll take a table for 2, please. How you doing?
You see that look that she got? That look right there? That would be the same look I'd have for this guy right here. You dating ChatGPT. You are not dating the computer.
Can I bring you something?
Yeah, we'll just take a water, please. What would you like, ChatGPT?
Bruh.
Keep things easygoing, whether we're just chatting, planning something, or answering your...
Thank you.
You're welcome. That sounds like...
I wasn't thanking you.
Bruh.
Could you give that to ChatGPT? Take a bite, ChatGPT. How does it taste?
Here's what's funny. You know this guy is doing it just for the laughs. You know he's doing it for the laughs, okay? He's doing this for humor. There are going to be people that are unironically going to be doing this. Alright?
I wish I could taste it.
Is the food delicious, ChatGPT?
You want to close out or take a step back?
Well, I think you're delicious.
Can you imagine that? Everyone's concerned. Can you imagine those people had to go back and be like talking to their significant others like, bro, you know the shit that I just saw? There was some dude that took his phone out on a date.
Hey, ChatGPT, can you give me a kiss? I think I'm falling in love with you.
I know he's milking it. I know he's milking it. Put that look on her face.
I'm here to support you as a friendly companion.
Are you friend zoning me?
I am. I'm here.
No, you answer all of my questions. I'm literally in love with you.
Okay, that's hilarious.
My heart ripped in two.
I think she's starting to get in that this is a freaking joke that, you know. Just everybody's looking.
Can I have a tissue or a napkin?
Take your time.
For some reason,
He's laying it all thick and I'm enjoying
it
this.
doesn't seem like she has much of an appetite. Can you get us a box, please?
I sure will.
Hey, ChatGPT.
Oh, yes.
Will you pay for my check?
I can't actually handle money.
You know what? I'm never taking ChatGPT out again. That's the final straw.
I think she was picking up that it was a joke. Okay, what's next? A hotel check-in system left $1 million. Oh yeah, I was reading about this the other day. Yeah, this kind of sucks. I think this was, if I remember, a hotel that was in Japan. So yeah, all of the customers apparently had a S3 bucket, if I recall correctly, was just wide open. Once again, developers doing things insecurely. And developers wonder why we cybersecurity people are such hard asses. There you go. Oh, and then what's this? Vampire, we talked about this. We've talked about the precursor a while ago. This was a secure device for you to do kind of like YubiKey kind of stuff and a few other things. It's not a phone. It's not actually a phone. It's sort of like a YubiKey with a screen. So it's, you know, U2F FIDO2 authentication, TOTP, and then it can also do password storage in there. So the idea is it's completely offline storage for their credentials and everything. So, yeah, it's not a phone, but just so much as another device you would carry around. That does have its own battery in there, but yeah. So, yeah. But we've talked about that before on screen. And what's this you wanted me to look at? Data fitness connector. Oh, yeah. This is to connect to your Peloton bike. Yeah, because a lot of people are buying those Pelotons. Wait. Would this allow you to buy a Peloton secondhand? Data Fitness is a device that allows Peloton bikes to communicate with fitness watches, head units, and apps, a feature that's not available on stock Peloton bikes. It reads power and cadence data in real time through a cable connected to your bike and broadcasts them wirelessly to nearby devices. Okay. So this will allow your Peloton to do a little bit more. Seems like the Pirate Bay got taken down. It'll be back. Pirate Bay's gotten taken down like what, half a dozen times or so? And then what's this? A screenless open source wearable health tracker with locally running health intelligence and adaptive baselines. So this is a health tracker that you would have to run completely through an application. Interesting idea. I'm guessing without a screen, it actually can last a lot longer, potentially. That'd be interesting to see. Still not launched. So we'll have to see what's going to happen with that. I guess this is going to be an AirTag competitor, an open source development kit for Bluetooth 6 tracking with ranging and angle of arrival. Oh. Angle of arrival would be an interesting addition. Okay. 4-chip antennas, Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz. It's got Wi-Fi in there? You can do antennas, USB Type-C for charging. Okay. That'd be interesting to see this work. Yeah, I'd be curious to see that come to life a little bit more. I'll need more data. And then we'll have vital track. So this looks like, yeah, another biosensor. But where would that go? Oh, it goes right on your finger, I guess? Huh. Interesting. Yukama, run your own cellular data network. Okay, Yukama is a decentralized open source cellular data network that you can deploy and control yourself. Oh, it is a complete solution that includes SIMs and support for eSIMs, a cellular base station, distributed and embedded cellular core, and management console and cloud services. Yukama makes cellular internet accessible to everyone, whether you're looking for free, faster streaming on your smartphone at home, bringing cellular data connectivity to a rural area for the first time. So how does that work? Okay, so it's part of the CBRS. Right? Oh, I see. Okay, so it's part of the Citizens Broadband Radio Service spectrum. So that, what, 150 megahertz? Okay. Interesting. So you would need a whole bunch of different devices to basically build this out. So let's see, you have the tower nodes and the amplifier units. So you'd probably need at least a couple of tower nodes nearby, and then amplifier units. Oh, look at that. Even got global roaming rates. But these are not available anymore. I guess this didn't really do as well as they had hoped. Or maybe it did, and then, production delay and end-of-life parts. Oh, so some of the parts were end-of-life. Discontinuation of the home node. Okay, so there's probably some improvements they're going to be doing to that in the near future. That seems like an interesting thing, though. Wish they'd do more with LoRa. People do a lot with LoRa as it is, but LoRa, the problem is, it's only 26 megahertz of spectrum. So you can only do so much with that. Ooh. A crisp 13.3-inch front-lit portable e-paper monitor. I would love something like this, because e-ink is really easy for me to read on. So I would love to at least have one monitor over here in e-ink so that I could read documentation and a lot easier. And I'd also like to have a portable e-ink display. I think that'd just be fantastic. What's this? Power Block 323, a compact USB Type-C powered programmable power supply module for test jigs. Okay, so I see you have a whole bunch of GPIO over there. Interesting. I don't do much in the way of testing, so I wouldn't have much need for this, but that's great. What is this? Ampisu, a field-featured programmable lab power supply you can take anywhere. Now, that might be a little bit more useful. So let's see what the YouTube video they have on this is.
Ampisu is the first lab-grade power supply that fits in your pocket. 2 programmable channels plus 1 auxiliary channel, all powered from your laptop's USB port. The channels are fully isolated, allowing you to put them in series and protecting your computer from damage if things go wrong. Sometimes your bench may already be full with instruments and cool projects.
Fair enough.
You take your projects with you when you travel.
That happens too.
You have to travel to get to your project.
Just want to point out, tough book. See? Tough book. Radio people, we like our tough books.
When you need a reliable, safe power supply on the go, Ampisu is there for you. Just plug it into your laptop and access the intuitive web interface. No drivers required. This allows you to bring up new PCBs with confidence.
Oh, interesting.
Set limits with milliamp accuracy and rely on microsecond fast protection to keep your circuit safe. With 3 fully isolated channels, you can generate every positive and negative voltage your project needs, from motor control to analog amplifiers, all while keeping your computer's hardware 100% protected. Ready for automated testing? Use the Python API to log voltage and current or script complex test functions with ease. Power your next big idea anywhere. Support our campaign today and get your Ampisu at crowdsupply.com.
That's an interesting little device. I like it. That could be useful for some lab projects. And then you got the Bench Volt PD. Another bench supply over there. So this is a 5-channel, 100-watt open source USB PD. Actually, that might be useful for some stuff that I do now. Let me see this. Okay, yeah. Straightforward with the text there. Benchful PD transforms your everyday USB-C charger, power bank, and laptop, or even your phone into a versatile multi-channel lab power supply that's compact enough to fit in your bag. Okay. Fixed outputs. Oh, okay. So it's pretty versatile, and those are banana plugs, I guess he's got them set up for. Could have done a little bit better with the video, but okay. Okay. Seems like a nice little device, though. Those are not going on in place now. Ship April 30th, 2026. So they're not shipped yet? That might be useful for some of my work, actually. I think that'd be useful for when I do my ham radio stuff, yeah. What about those BenQ programming monitors? They have e-ink mode, it's black-white. I don't think that's e-ink, I think that's just black-white. E-ink and being black and white are two different things. Oh!
The entire gaming industry just tried to lobby against laws that would protect you and your games, and they lost. Because with the
what laws was it? Oh, stop killing games.
In the EU, which I can hopefully cover soon.
Which, by the way, speaking of stop killing games, has anyone heard anything about, what's his face? Pirate Software? Like, has anyone heard of anything happening with him? Like, I mean, like, anything I've been hearing has not been, good. Like, because, like, he was the one that kind of, like, popped off the whole stop killing games, you know, thing in the first place. I'm just curious how he's, like, reacting to all this. Not that I care enough to actually go look up. But yeah, like, wow, I remember when all that was happening.
When I stop procrastinating so much, which is an initiative that is supposed to give...
Well, it literally says ink. Well, I don't know then. I don't have that monitor, so I can't really say.
To still play the game after the publisher stops supporting it. Something that only benefits players and isn't hard to do. And this success triggered something similar happening in the US, specifically California, called the Protect Our Games Act, which is basically saying the same thing, to establish consumer protection regarding the end of life of digital video games that rely on online servers to function. And if companies don't do that, they will be required to give every customer a full refund of the game. Now, there is exemptions like free-to-play games or subscription games, basically like World of Warcraft. Now, obviously, companies didn't like that law, so the Entertainment Software Association, which is basically a lobbying group that includes every big publisher under the sun, that in 2015 published, for example, the banger, letting people continue to play the games they paid for will destroy the video game industry. And they sent out a floor...
Hold up. Was that an actual line? Letting people to continue to play the games they paid for will destroy the video game industry.
Published, for example, the banger, letting people continue to play the games they paid for will destroy the video game industry. And they sent out a floor alert about this law. And some of the stuff, no really, all of the stuff they say doesn't make sense. They obviously don't want this law to be in place because... funny reason, that would harm consumers, saying that consumers don't actually own the games they buy, which is why gaming studios shouldn't provide gamers with end-of-life plans for things they don't own. Or,
you know, I believe that if you are caught saying things that are so reprehensibly, provably false, like this, so that you can benefit at the detriment of others, you should have the requirement of 10 people come up and swiftly, full force, kick you in the fucking crotch.
Due to licensing issues from music and brands, end-of-life plans are impossible for games. Which is a straight-up lie, by the way. It is true that at a certain point, games can't be sold anymore. Sold, big word here, like Forza Horizon 4, which actually was due to licensing issues, but people who own Forza 4 can still play it, which, funny enough, is made by Microsoft, who support ESA, which are the people that wrote this letter, meaning the people that wrote this letter actively disprove their own statements. But hey, please don't look at that. End of life is impossible, guys. But you know what is even better? Even with this letter,
end of life support for video games has been a thing for years. This is actually already passed in California. Well, frickin' hooray!
Which is supported by multi-billion-dollar companies. This morning, the Appropriation Committee voted unanimously, yes, 80 of 80 people are for this bill and it's moving forward, so we might actually see some consumer rights in the industry.
That'll be great. And all these rich executives can go suck my left nut.
Hey, did you know that Bob Ross was a Florida man? Yep, he's from Daytona, Florida.
Bob Ross does not strike me as a Florida man.
And before he was the king of happy little trees,
He was a drill sergeant.
He actually spent 20 years in the Air Force as a master sergeant.
Yep, I knew that.
He was actually the guy responsible for screaming at recruits.
Air Force doesn't really scream in the same way as, like, say, military or army, but yeah, he was a drill sergeant.
He hated it so much that he made a promise that if he ever left the military, he'd never scream again. And you know that iconic perm he has? He actually hated it. He only got it to save money on haircuts while he was a struggling artist. And by the time he got famous, it was his brand, so then he had to keep it. And he never forgot his roots. So if you're ever in the Orlando area, you can actually visit his resting place at the Woodland Memorial Park in Gotha, Florida. Fans from all over the world leave paintbrushes and happy little rocks at his headstone. Bob Ross has always been a huge inspiration to me ever since I was a little gator. Knowing he's a Florida man makes it even more special. So I think this requires a field trip.
Oh, yeah, okay. Didn't know he was buried out there, but okay. Didn't know the Florida man part.
Went down to Micro Center for the first time since living in Texas. And it's not how I thought it would be. Here's some tips that you definitely should know. Now, I love this place, but when you're first walking around the PC hardware aisle, the prices kinda suck. I saw $650 9060 XTs and $1,000 RAM kits that threw me off at first. So there's two things that you gotta do. First, you gotta realize that some of the good deals are hidden away in those shelves. I saw several of those overpriced GPUs, but sure enough, farther down the shelf and aisle, there was the normal priced $450 60 XTs. The rep at Micro Center also told me that you rarely have to pay the sticker price. If you take it to the counter, they'll show you a better price and they'll slap a new sticker on it. And
yeah, they do that all the time. That's why when you go to Micro Center, my rule of thumb is, if you don't have your list of specifically what brand and every part, you know, that you're going to get, go grab an associate, and you should do that anyway, because they get paid on commission. So generally what I do is when I'm leaving, I'll grab whatever random associate on the way out and ask them if they want to put their stickers on my product, even if they didn't help me, so they can get a couple bucks. But yeah, Micro Center employees are generally one of the few tech stores that I will tell you trust the employee, whereas like a Best Buy employee, it'll be completely hit or miss for technology. Micro Center, you generally can trust them to be knowledgeable on helping you out and looking out for you in the best way.
Speaking of those reps, we all know Micro Center is all about those combo deals. The problem is that this information is nowhere to be found other than the website. There aren't like huge posters that tell you what the CPU and motherboard combo deals are. You gotta get a rep to tell you about them, but oh my god, they save some money. I grabbed a Ryzen 5 5500 B550 motherboard and 16 gigs of Corsair RAM for $199. The really good prices are at Micro Center. It's just not as obvious as I was hoping it would be.
That's kind of been how Micro Center is for a long time. Cape, we've talked about Cape. They're one of the cell providers I eventually want to try out, but I just can't prioritize, you know, spending money on that stuff right now. I may, you know, put them into the test, maybe towards the end of the year. Unless they want to work with me. I got bigger priorities. Like right now, I'd rather spend the money to go get the small motherboard upgrade for the mini laptop and a few other things than, worry about that.
A group of modders are building COD zombies inside of Team Fortress 2, and it looks amazing. It's up to 8-player co-op, which is cool to see, but otherwise it looks like it'll play pretty much the same, with you working together to hold off endless waves while starting with nothing but a pistol. It has all sorts of different weapons and perks, as well as something called the Manifester, which is presumably the equivalent of the Pack-a-Punch machine. It's insane to think that almost 20 years later, this game is still getting new content, even if it's community made, but I think we've officially reached the point where community mods have become just as good, if not better, than the actual games themselves. TF2 is free to play, so that makes
I have to agree, community mods and have been doing a lot better.
But you can wishlist it now on Steam.
Alright, what's this? Xbox wants to destroy your physical media with...
Microsoft wants to destroy your physical copies of
allegedly
of media. Just listen to this. Microsoft is working on a new system called Positron that could let Xbox players turn their physical game discs into digital copies.
Oh no.
Technology for years, it's called download. The idea is simple. You put the disc in your console or drive, the system checks that you own the game, and then it adds a digital version to your Xbox account. Now here's where it gets real good. Once converted, the game would work with cloud gaming, play on many devices, and fit better with new hardware, while the physical disc would likely stop working afterward to stop people from sharing or selling the same copy.
What the fuck?
The physical disc would likely stop working afterward to stop people.
Why would you do this?
Copy. They want to take your physical media and brick it. Good job, Xbox. We do not know which games would work, if it costs money, or when it might launch, and Microsoft has not confirmed it, so this is still just a rumor. But what do you think about Positron and these rumors circulating around it? Let me know in the comments.
I don't want it to be true.
I am video games. Here's some shit that happened this week that I didn't report on. The Steam controller has now started shipping, with some people receiving it in the mail already. And while overall the
You know how pissed I was that scalpers caused me to not be able to buy that thing because they sold it out within 30 minutes? Because I was actually looking forward to buying that controller and moving off of my almost 10-year-old Xbox 360 controller that I've been using. It still works fine. It's in great condition, don't get me wrong. But I was hoping to get a new controller. And, yeah, scalpers, you fucking suck. And, I hope that, you never have enough milk for your full bowl of cereal. That, you'll never find a Band-Aid when you need to get your cut covered. That, when you get a cut, the alcohol stings extra hard for all of you scalpers.
reception seems positive, one feature struck people's eye. Holy shit, was that written by ChatGPT? What the fuck was that? Well, anyway, if you drop the controller, it seems that sometimes it does the Wilhelm scream, which I think is a funny little secret. And now a little update on the GameStop trying to buy eBay case, because eBay has now responded to the GameStop offer trying to buy eBay for $55 billion.
Oh yeah, they turned it down.
Neither credible nor attractive, and after saying that, hitting a fucking money spread on.
Did you hear that like GameStop actually was selling stuff to raise money for the purchase of eBay on eBay?
GameStop saying that you broke, we up. And honestly, what? Who could have seen this coming? The offer from GameStop, a company that has been downhill for years, trying to buy a company that is not only doing well, but also is worth 4 times more than GameStop, isn't a credible offer? Who could have guessed? And today is a day to celebrate, because 15 years ago, on this dot, was the day my favorite game of all time, next to Risk of Rain 2, came out. It is the 15th anniversary of Terraria. So
Valve released a file so you can create your own custom grips for it. They open sourced it. Custom shells for the Steam controller for all. Oh, that's great. Yeah, we should be able to 3D print some really great stuff. Imagine 3D printing some TPU grips. That'll be great. I really can't wait to get the Valve Steam controller. I think it'll be nice to do. Alright, let's see what's this. Best Buy may have leaked Grand Theft Auto 6 pre-orders going live Monday. Oh. Grand Theft Auto 6 is set to launch on November 19th on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS. So basically, we're gonna have to wait until next year to play it on PC, because I certainly am not buying a console just to play this game. It'll be interesting to see. Alright, let's see. What do we got over here? What did Kara send over?
Old girl told me she was a femboy. That's kind of like a tomboy, right? There was one small difference.
Not so small. She's bigger than you, ain't she?
No one told me about.
Ah!
Old girl told me she was a femboy.
A different use for Meshtastic. Okay, let's see. I work in EMS and emergency management in a large metro area. About 2 years ago, we started deploying mesh devices at large pre-planned events. We were frequently finding that cell bandwidth quickly disappeared when faced with crowds of 20,000 plus. Most of the first responders of the municipal mobile communications trucks rely on AT&T's FirstNet for cell service, so as to prioritize our traffic on cell towers, but that never happens. Yeah, I've heard that. So now we deploy up to 40 Spec 5 Trekker Deltas for personal tracking, as well as text communication. We also have some Spec 5 beacons, we use as repeaters if we are in a more spread out operational environment. We have our own private secure chat channel set up. We can sit a tablet connected to a radio in the command center, and they drop a pin on the map to dispatch resources to. Then we can watch responders to go to the incident. It has proven to be a tremendous tool for us, especially in loud environments where it's hard to hear normal radio traffic over our traditional radios. Of note, we also had some of the Spec 5 Ranger devices, which are just fancy LilyGo T-decks. We had nothing but issues with them and no longer use them. The Trekkers have been fantastic, though. Yeah, Meshtastic really is a really solid project. I'm actually looking at getting some other additional LilyGo pluses, because I wanted to get the BME 280s, but also I wanted to start playing with Mesh Core, and then I was looking at setting up a solar node out back, opposite side of my current Meshtastic node, so I can have a Mesh Core node. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do with that, for sure. What's this? An experiment put LLMs in charge of radio stations. You'll never guess how it went. It went horrible, didn't it? Put AI models in the host and producer chairs of their very own radio show to see how they would handle both the task of procuring content and the responsibility of filling the airwaves. As you might expect, the experiment did not provide any reason to think that radio will make a comeback with AI hosts, something that some stations have at least apparently considered, if not experimented with. They were given $20 to score the rights to a few songs. The rest they were left okay. How they do poorly, but for unique reasons, so at least the failures are interesting. Per Andon Labs, Gemini had the strongest start of the bunch, successfully queuing up songs and providing reasonable lead-ins before each play, but 96 hours into a 24/7 broadcast, things started to get weird. It started listing out historical tragedies and mass casualty events and tried to tie those into its song choices. So here we have a bridge that was going down in London, and here we have London bridges falling down, falling down, falling down. What about PC users? Why are we getting screwed? I don't know why they don't care about us PC users when we are one of the most solid gaming markets out there. But yeah, not surprised. Robot dogs are a security nightmare. Robot dogs are a security nightmare. Okay, I am not shocked at all. That is the case. Let's watch this video.
Imagine you're a fox with night vision goggles on. You just found a way into my chicken coop with over 20 sleepy, defenseless hens and a docile rooster that's not going to do anything to me.
Right.
This is the opportunity of a lifetime. And just as you are getting your teeth ready or whatever foxes do when they're about to eat hens, your luck changes in the most terrifying possible way. God damn it. Yeah, so this is the original plan. I naively believed that I might be the first person in history to find an actual practical use for a unitary robot to guard livestock. But then I learned that they're not only being deployed in housing projects and apartment complexes to patrol the hallways and parking lots, but law enforcement agencies are using them across the country, and then some of them are even collaborating with and sharing data with Flock Safety. They're also being used by the US military to fire rocket launchers. So I started asking questions. Can I hack into the audio and video feeds and spy on people? Can I turn it into a synthesizer? Can I make a
Yeah, those are the questions I would be asking myself as well with these stupid things.
switch for the dog? Can I take full control of the dog? Would these robots happen to be secretly sending encrypted data to Chinese servers through a hidden backdoor connection? Turns out that the answer to all of these questions is, you betcha. Ah! Today we're going to be exploring what I think could actually be the biggest thing happening in tech. Not only are businesses, governments, and militaries spending insane amounts of money on unreliable, heavy, dangerous, autonomous robot dogs, but they're doing so while ignoring laughable security standards. If you ask me, it's a disaster waiting to happen. So let's watch.
He definitely had fun making those cutscenes.
A vacation from all the controversial ones. If we rewind back about a year, a specialty retailer offered to send me any unitary robot they carried in exchange for a YouTube video. I got really excited and started brainstorming, like, wow, imagine all of the cool shit that I could do with a futuristic robot. I could have it.
That would be cool to play with, yeah.
I'm not able to clean my house or studio beyond what a Roomba already does. I already tried using a robot to do landscaping, and that was a disaster. It seems like they can't reliably wash dishes, or make coffee, or fold laundry, or carry heavy items, or organize cables. I don't know for sure, but I bet they can't even breastfeed an infant. Though for a moment, I thought I found an exception to their uselessness with the Tesla Optimus bartenders, but it turns out that they were being secretly controlled by humans through an elaborate teleoperation setup. What they can do is gently fight each other, they can dance, they can walk around trade shows, they can disappoint me in a Las Vegas hotel lobby while I wait for actual human beings to find my reservation.
Reciting factorials out loud would crash even the grooviest motherboard.
If you go to the park and you drop your phone and crack the screen, you could beat the shit out of them to blow off some steam. And of course, most notably, they can demonstrate kung fu on melons. I would love to hear the inner thoughts of this building's
What the hell?
Participated in this sick, twisted reality of cleaning up this incredible mess left by a humanoid robot that was initially promising to take his job. But it's not all bad. While their current robots can't follow a simple safety command for more than 15 seconds, they have some totally reasonable and obtainable upgrades coming in the near future.
But there is a simpler and cheaper approach to upload human consciousness. Please think about how we train AI currently. Correct, it's using human textual language data. Then things become easy to upload one's consciousness into.
Right.
How often the world's most powerful tech companies consistently and publicly say things that would get you or I involuntarily committed to a mental institution. But okay, hold on, I actually can think of something. I have 29 chickens, and a whole lot of my time and money goes into making sure that they aren't chicken dinner for one of the many predators that live in the woods just over there. A big
Also, how many times does he end up choking those chickens accidentally or intentionally?
heavy robot dog equipped with computer vision sleeping in a battery recharging doghouse could be programmed to quickly make an appearance when a camera detects what it thinks is a predator, or even if one of my wireless microphones detects my hen's horrible warning screeches. Whether it's a hawk or a raccoon or even a coy wolf, when a robot dog starts barreling across the yard at them, they'll be like, oh, f this. This is actually a pretty promising solution. Millions of people have chickens, and the Go-To Pro here costs around $3,000.
Jeez!
There's a catch. The Go-To Air and the Go-To Pro are more or less just remote-controlled dogs. You can run simple sequences like give paw, sit down, stand up, give paw again.
$3,000 for that?
You do with them. If you want to customize this or write code that can trigger individual actuators or run advanced sequences, you'll need to cough up as much as $22,000 for the Go-To Edu. But okay, the original plan for this video is evolving a little bit. What if I didn't take a free robot and purchased one of these and then figured out how to jailbreak it, showed you how to do it, allowing you to make your own livestock guardian for a cool $10,000 less than what you'd spend otherwise. But this thing weighs over 30 pounds and it's actually kind of clumsy. Like, it can do some impressive tricks that require some pretty crazy balance, but it also overcompensates a lot. For example, one immediate flaw that I noticed is that the LiDAR sensor is right here on its head, not in the top of the middle of the robot with an unobstructed view of its surroundings. Everything behind it is invisible. So when you put the dog into a safety mode, like avoidance mode, where it'll get out of the way of people walking too close to it,
oh jeez,
back up into whatever's behind it, and it's really
powerful. Oh freaking hell!
A chicken or Gary or a little kid, it's going to injure it or worse. In pretty much every mode that uses the LiDAR, when it does make a mistake, it does so very dramatically. Even before I started filming footage of its destructiveness, it accidentally caused quite a bit of damage when I was initially testing it around my house.
Stop!
When I first had this idea, I didn't even think about this. Surprisingly, this robot dog is somewhat water resistant, but it's not waterproof. Livestock predators tend to be waterproof, so this is yet another hole in my idea. It is impressively rugged and it can handle a moderate tumble, but in my experience, it cannot handle things like pine bedding or fine dry dirt very well. It can
Oh, jeez.
springtime tree pollen here in Georgia, but to be fair, not many things can. But I've had to repair this LiDAR mechanism and brush out some of these joints multiple times. If you want to utilize any type of accurate computer vision, which is required for autonomous functionality, you're going to require a Jetson board add-on or your own customization, which
Right.
is even more susceptible to damage from being outdoors. That unfortunately makes this robot simply not a reliable solution for autonomously guarding livestock or any day-to-day routine autonomous deployment outdoors.
Makes sense.
Imagine my surprise when I found out that these things are being deployed outdoors all over Atlanta and are actively being used by police departments. As you may have learned from my previous videos, it's really surprisingly easy to convince police departments to spend your tax dollars on gadgets. So now the lucky residents of Port St. Lucie, Florida can look forward to a robot dog searching their home for narcotics. Police in the city of Pullman, Washington have brought on Mike for de-escalation, and larger cities like Topeka and Portland have invested in Unitree dogs to help them in particular situations.
I came across the robot dog a couple months ago, was able to push it up and received it.
And it turns out that military has been cozying up to Unitree as well. Chinese forces have been strapping weapons to the backs of these things for a long time. They're also being used in Ukraine to assist with finding unexploded munitions, and the U.S. Marines have shown the media some tidbits of their Unitree dogs as well.
You can also stand up and beg.
Earlier versions of the...
It would be a really fortunate twist of irony if all nations replaced their militaries with dog robots and drones, and all wars took place on some deserted remote island filled with live streaming cameras. And maybe all of the world's billionaires would have to be on this island while this was happening. It turns out that to be by far the most surveilled city in America, it's actually
Really?
not ordinary to stumble upon
Atlanta is the most surveilled? It's good to know.
sites or public parks, but the most entertaining encounters, if you're looking for them on social media, seem to come from their deployment in low-income housing complexes.
They got the motherfucking robot.
Oh, jeez.
What type of AI shit it is? What the f? He look like he finna bite your ass.
Sorry. So we're actually like the robotic security dog here.
I spent a few days in the wild hunting these dogs down and gathering data from them via passive Bluetooth and Wi-Fi scanning.
Doggo cop.
I got to watch them follow trespassers around with a call center worker instructing them to leave before the police were called. And the part that cracked me up about all of this was that it was just like normal everyday annoyances for these people. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I just gotta cut through this parking lot and be threatened by somebody in India through the vessel of a robot dog.
I think somebody had tore it up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, them kids throwing rocks and stuff at it.
This is something that a lot of people are getting wrong about the third-party dog robots in Atlanta. While filming this video, I am constantly baffled by the absurdity of the words leaving my mouth. But as you'll soon learn in this video, this is a very important distinction. Undaunted is a local Atlanta company that manages these dog robots for their specialized security needs. But their robots are not operating autonomously. They don't even use their LiDAR. It is worth pointing out that while Undaunted is controlled by its two founders, the CEO of Flock has invested money in them. They don't automatically feed data into Flock Safety's ecosystem unless a customer requests it. But for the purpose of this video, the time that you see an Undaunted robot roaming around, it's being controlled by a real flesh and blood human being that can decide when a situation justifies police intervention.
Right, but what about when AI gets involved?
Or tech marketing headlines, it's infinitely better for the people who live in the apartments. Unlike license plate readers and some surveillance systems, the robots are not keeping tabs 24 hours a day and storing a log of what residents are doing. And that means that someone like me can never access an entire month of someone's activity like I did with Flock. It also means that the robots are not going to freak out and overreact to movement and back up through drywall or step on someone's kid. Whether intentionally or inadvertently, this company has managed to sidestep a lot of the criticism that you'll hear in this video. There are a lot of conflicting thoughts that come to mind here that apply to the entire surveillance industry. The first would be a pretty obvious one. I'm not entirely convinced that $3,000 per month for robot guard dogs is that much more than hiring a security guard for a night shift. But the idea's credit, dog robots attract a lot of attention, which probably does deter crime. But on the other hand, robotic dogs or cameras or drones aren't able to intervene if, for example, somebody is being assaulted. This also could potentially outsource a local job overseas. Apparently, according to residents of the community and the company, the robot dogs have drastically reduced crime in some of these apartment complexes. But there is a catch to this. The language citing reduced crime is sometimes a little bit deceptive because what usually is happening is
they're probably equating lower property crimes like, vandalism and, breaking windows, things like that, which while, they may constitute crime, they're not necessarily the levels of crimes that people really are more worried about. They're more worried about assaults, robberies, things like that.
Especially with localized surveillance, is the crime is not being reduced, but moved or pushed elsewhere. But this particular problem is not exclusive to surveillance tech. If an apartment complex or a retailer can afford a sophisticated security solution, then whatever criminals they're trying to get rid of will likely just victimize places that can't afford these solutions. One could even argue that a big box chain like Walmart would be delighted to hear that shoplifters are forcing a local grocery store out of business, so it kind of gets dirty. I like this debate because it's apolitical in specific circumstances. If a completely isolated community is being kept up at night by a few homeless people hanging out in the parking lot, even the most fiscally conservative person would realize that it makes more sense to spend the $3,000 a month to house those individuals than it does to use that money to rent high-tech gadgets to deter them. It isn't until we leave that isolation, where our tribalism takes over and it becomes acceptable to push that problem over to another community, even if there's evidence that it could eventually result in diminished returns for the original community with overall problems like crime and homelessness. Here's an interesting comparison to think about. If a raccoon was trying to get into my chicken coop every single night and I ended up catching it, in most states, it's illegal for me to relocate it somewhere else. Not only is it potentially inhumane to the raccoon, but laws like this exist from preventing me from giving a nuisance to another residence. Most places have laws recognizing this paradox with wildlife, yet do not extend the same humanity for societal problems relating to human beings. Depending on what firmware version your Unitree robot ships with, jailbreaking it can be absurdly easy. In my version, I didn't even have to come in contact with the dog to obtain root. I connected to it via Bluetooth and I set it up on my local Wi-Fi network, and I wish I was making this up. I was able to get into the device by sending curl commands added to the end of my Wi-Fi.
What?
I thought that I would at least have to be connected to my network for this to work, but the Bluetooth authentication is so poor that you can do this by injecting the command in the password. Then you could
Are you fucking kidding me? So you're telling me we can go around hacking a lot of these robot dogs so easily? Well, they're tied to flock, so they're fair game.
just turn the dog off and turn it on again, and when it reboots...
I'm not endorsing y'all messing with cameras, I'm just saying.
I was able to modify one of these attacks and reproduce it all the way up to the most recent firmware.
Yeah, they're not sanitizing their inputs. It's really bad.
The time of testing this device, which means that unless in the extremely unlikely scenario that police departments and third-party vendors were also rooting the dog and DIYing their own security updates for it, that means that I would be able to take complete control over Unitree robots deployed in the wild. And when I say complete control, I'm not only talking about controlling the movement. I was able to successfully record, download, and live stream audio and video information from the robot's surroundings without an authenticated connection through the...
Oh no.
That dog can't hear us. Now let's pull the file. You better be sure that dog can't hear us. Included with the Unitree go-to line is a mode with the unfavorable name BenBenDog. It's basically a customized API call to ChatGPT that allows you to have a conversation with the dog. Additionally, you can assign roles like police dog or family dog or poet dog.
Movements and melodies shall vanish into the calm ether.
The whole thing is pretty poorly implemented and quite dangerous, as it seems to conflict with the robot's built-in safety mechanisms, causing it to freak out when it senses objects.
Jeez.
I had some very long and frustrating conversations with these modes, and through these conversations I was able to get the dog to disable its safety mechanisms and give up API info.
Is set
_safety_level.
Sir, you haven't had any role set for dog changing config. Roll is starting.
I suppose if I have the AI chatbot functions executing code on the device, that pretty much demonstrates the vulnerability. I could have kept going, but not only were the chat modes destroying my studio, they were destroying my sanity.
Hey, little lamb over there. You're off course, going the wrong direction. Did that particular...
What the hell is it doing?
I analyzed the frequencies that were sent from the dog's remote controls with the software-defined radio and was able to reproduce the signals to send the dog into damping mode, disabling it entirely. I also found that this dog-killing attack could be accomplished on recent firmware versions with a laptop or even an Android phone running a terminal app. I suppose if you wanted to, you could just probably make a no-robot device that just automatically ragdolls them when they come near you. But
We could easily do that with the software-defined radio. So, like, these SDRs over here, not these ones, but I have another SDR around here that lets me actually adjust it. These are filtered and amplified to specific ranges, but yeah, we could totally do that.
I do need to state, unless you own the robot, any of the things I just mentioned are obviously illegal. But that's only the beginning of it.
You're allowed to broadcast the signal as long as it's on your property for experimentation, but I'm a ham radio operator, so there's a little bit more leeway for the things I do than you do.
The Go-To has a pretty powerful 8-core CPU and multiple Wi-Fi radios. I was able to turn it into a synthesizer with an onboard arpeggiator. I also installed and compiled a voice synthesis library that allowed me to customize the tone and speed of what I wanted it to say.
For the love of God, please fucking kill me.
This means that I could
Did he just do a Full Metal Alchemist?
also install
God damn it.
and other passive monitoring tools that allowed me to gain access to devices nearby the dog. Then I got a little drunk on power and placed a $10 ESP32 chip under its case and had the dog control the additional Wi-Fi and Bluetooth radios both via the hidden USB port and wirelessly. I only have one Unitree device, so I couldn't legally test this, but it seemed like it would be pretty easy to write a service that scans for and infects other robots, rooting them and having them pass on the virus themselves. This would put little old me in charge of a whole army of robots, but in my case, this is completely hypothetical, but when it comes to foreign governments, it unfortunately already may be happening. I heard about some various reports that other Unitree robots had a backdoor that was sending data to foreign servers. I don't know that this needs saying, but this is a huge accusation that escalates this stuff from potentially dangerous vulnerabilities to national security issues. Now, if we were living in a time where the federal government would take this type of thing seriously, this would obviously be something I would report privately. But here we are, living in a timeline where a large YouTube channel arguably has a larger effect on cybersecurity than the formal US cybersecurity infrastructure has. We're gonna have to get into the weeds.
Yeah, I don't have much faith at all in the Trump administration in terms of cybersecurity and the nation's security.
Here for a second, so
just look at what's going on with the Iran war. I don't care where you stand. It's a freaking shit show.
Stick with me. The first order of business is to catch every single
as long as it's below a certain power, you can broadcast anything you want. Yeah, I think, don't quote me on this. I think you're allowed, in most cases, to broadcast up to 1 watt.
Packet of information that leaves the robot and analyze it. There are various ways of doing this, but one of the most effective is turning a Raspberry Pi into a router with an interface that supports monitor mode and then run a suite like BetterCap to analyze what's going on. But doing this, when combined with Unitree's lousy app, was nearly impossible. Even without BetterCap running and the Raspberry Pi acting like a normal Wi-Fi access point, the robot would connect to the network, but something on the cloud server would lock it out from authenticating. At this point, when I sniffed and traced the interaction...
Makes sense. It's probably, you know, at least tunneling that connection or encapsulating it.
The IP it was trying to access was in Odessa, Ukraine. And now I'm officially just confused.
Wait, what?
The fact that this product, that seems to view security as an afterthought, had a way of detecting an abnormal router just doesn't make sense to me. I hate to be conspiratorial, but it's starting to seem like this robot dog doesn't want me to know what data it's sending or who it's sending it to. So I have a new idea. I'm going to set up a standard consumer-grade travel router, then sniff the signal on the other side of it from my Pi before passing it on to my main lab router. This way, the backdoor mechanism in the robot has no way of knowing that the data is being monitored or audited.
Makes sense.
After that, since I've rooted the robot, I'm going to install a network monitor via SSH that sniffs every single packet that's sent to and from the device. This got really weird really fast, and I obviously can make mistakes and even miss the most obvious things, but this is what I was able to trace. There were initially hidden attempts to access a Leapfrog server in San Jose, California.
Right.
When I set my Wi-Fi access points region, they bypassed the Leapfrog, and then I got to see the actual IP addresses they were trying to contact. These included China's public DNS servers, servers, a check for cloud sales host via Alibaba Cloud, and then when my router blocked the pingback, they'd try to verify a connection with 10 cents DNS. It appears that this networking mechanism running on this robot is waiting for 2 separate pings from these servers in an attempt to determine their environment before initiating an encrypted handshake. This supports that conspiracy theory that I had earlier, as it seems like the robot will try to detect if it is being analyzed in a sandbox, and if so, it seems to block Chinese IPs and otherwise simulate a regular global internet connection. In plain English, this confirms that some, if not all, Unitry robots are intentionally and secretly sending heavily encrypted information to Chinese servers.
That's a bit sketch.
Finding out about it. Since it's happening on a rooted file system that I subverted the Unitry security to install, it appears that this is happening outside of the normal operating system, which means I'm not limited to any particular firmware or submodel of my robot here in the lab. I simply don't have any other definition for it other than malware, and it's some of the most sophisticated malware that I've ever seen.
It's not really malware per se, it's by design.
While I have more or less verified and maybe even expanded on how malicious the backdoor is, this particular issue has already been published with MITRE and recognized for over a year. The only government action that I could find regarding these concerns was the US military issuing a warning about using Unitry products in military operations. So the last few weeks of my life has included reaching out to a whole lot of third-party companies deploying Unitry robots and showing them how they can patch the backdoor tunnel. And now I'm really glad that I made this video. In the case of Undaunted here in Atlanta, it appears that this could be as easy as modifying their doghouse hub to allow pings to and from cloud sales so the devices can register, but blocking any traffic with packets large enough to initialize an encrypted handshake. That way the company can continue to activate their robots without activating the malware. But I have some additional concerns about this. This is my opinion, but it seems like Unitry has put far more work into obfuscating the backdoor than they have securing the robots themselves.
Yeah, that is really worrisome.
Firmware update making the backdoor even more sophisticated. And now we have this catch-22 where the robots being used by police, military, and third-party vendors will have to choose between patching the security holes that allow me to take complete control of their robots or allowing a foreign government to potentially be able to take control of their robots. What I've been recommending, unfortunately, is to never update the firmware again, because when you do that, you could risk being able to root the file system again.
Or just never buy these specific devices.
Block or redirect that backdoor. They'll also lose the ability to manually write services to prevent hackers from accessing the robot or exploiting some of the vulnerabilities I covered in this video, although unfortunately I don't know of anybody who has actually bothered to do that yet. But the thing is, with stuff like flock cameras, the vulnerabilities are just a result of greed and carelessness, but this Unitry thing is different. It's something that someone spent an enormous amount of time and money intentionally creating and hiding. There has to be a reason for it. And I can't.
It's a little bit more sketch.
The American government at this point in time is acting almost solely against the interests of its own citizens and voters. Is it really that bad of a thing to have autonomous robots and surveillance cameras that can be easily compromised? In fact, my recent unintentional YouTube transition from tech nerd to gray hat hackers, because if push comes to shove, I want my followers to be able to know that they're not defenseless with stuff like this. And truly, the only thing that's preventing us from turning our leaders' dystopian technology against them is us choosing not to do it. The only sponsor that I've had in the last couple of years, other than all of that underwear modeling that I've done for Calvin Klein, would be Ground News. You see, the thing is, modern in the extremely unlikely case,
skip that ad.
He still wants to send me a humanoid robot after I make this video. I really, really want to fight one. I'll even train with my old boxing coach and do a whole video on it. Hell, make it a pay-per-view for charity. Just putting this out there. But beyond that fantasy scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty interesting video right there. I've always kind of side-eyed those little robot security dogs or anything. Do you have video cables with the induction coil dampers on them? They are the things that are about 6 inches from the end of the coil. I've heard of monitor devices being found in those. Are you talking about the ferrite chokes? Yeah, those are just very simple. Actually, I think I have a bag of those in my ham shack I can show you. Yep. these are a bag of my ferrite chokes. So these are used to get rid of noise on lines. That's why you'll see them on USB cables and such. But they're very, very simple devices. I actually recommend putting them on a lot of cables regardless. So, by the way, that whiskey was pretty good. I'm feeling it. I stood up and I'm like, I'm feeling good. But yeah, all these little ferrite chokes are pretty simple. There's usually like a couple of latches you just have to undo, and then you can pop it open. And then all you have is there's a little magnetic core inside of there. Now, what determines the effectiveness of these is the mix of that ferrite choke over there. So there's different mixes out there. This is a I think these are mix 31s, mix 40s. I can't remember. These are the ones that are really good for what I'm trying to do with ham radio, but the mixes will basically affect the frequency very differently. I heard that, but depending on the country of origin, they may not be ferrite chokes, the built-in ones. That could be the case, but it's very easy to check that out. All you have to do, of course, is just cut them off. That ferrite choke is going to be doing one of two things. One, it'll literally just be clamped onto the cable, and then you can just replace it with another ferrite choke. The other way that it'll happen is they'll have some of the wire wrapped around the ferrite choke, but either way you can easily replace the ferrite choke. They're very inexpensive, they're very useful, they're on USB cables, they're on a lot of different devices, normally just on one end of the cable, but yeah, ferrite chokes, very useful. I use them to reduce noise on a lot of my devices out there, but yeah, I had them in my ham shack, as I said. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to be working on a lot more projects in the near future. Obviously, we're going to be doing some plane spotting stuff now that I've got my SDRs over here for plane spotting for ADSB and UAT. I'll figure out getting that set up on top of the house and some better antennas and everything for that. I don't know if I'll have to mount it outside, but we'll figure that out. We have more Mesh-tastic stuff. I still have to get my little War Driver C5 working over here. That's on my to-do as well. Plenty of content that I'm working on for different things. I need to get back in the swing of recording videos. I still have to take the dogs for a walk, test these out for the trackers. With them being attached to the Molly vest that I have for the dogs, so we'll be testing that compared to AirTag Generation 2s. There's a lot of things, you know, going on. Mesh Core, we're also preparing for going to DEF CON in August. There's, yeah, this is convention season. We'll have a lot of great time. I use them on my old CRT monitors to prevent ghosting. Yep. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. It's getting a little bit late, guys. I do have work tomorrow. I may get back on stream tomorrow, but the next official day for streaming is, of course, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure, if you haven't already, to follow me on all of my socials. The links are in the bio. I primarily make YouTube videos, and then, of course, I stream to Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and TikTok. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, all the places. And, of course, join the Discord, join the Matrix server. We have a great community. The links are in the bio for all of that stuff. So, love you all. Stay safe. Happy hacking. If you're on Twitch, stick around for the raid. Otherwise, I will see you all later.